Yo, welcome back to another episode of No Box Checking Podcast. I'm your host, Fonz. I got my guy, Mr. Mindset Curtis, with me.
What's up, everybody?
And we got to have Moose with us, right?
What's going on, y'all?
Well, look, welcome back. This is No Box Checking Podcast where we don't just check boxes, we make an impact. Tonight we have a bonus episode for you. America's turning 250 years old. Some people may say that's not a long time compared to a lot of other countries, but we're making it to 250 and we're super proud of it. So we want to do something a little bit special and do a bonus episode. And this is coming to you with our hearts full of gratitude and being grateful of the United States of America. We in the car, we are grateful for the car business, but we're also grateful for our freedom because our freedom allows us to do what we do in the car business. We have a special guest a little later on in the episode. Can't wait till he comes on. Curtis will introduce him. But first off, again, we say America a lot, but the thing is, we are the United States of America. And the key word there is united. It takes all of us to make this country rock and roll the way it's supposed to. The diversity and everything that we have in this country, it's amazing. For the America 250, we're in the car business, so we got to talk a little bit about the car business, right? Well, if you don't know this, the car business has structured and supported and helped so much with America, what it is today, and the economy of America. Um, Moose, in America we have these companies. We call them the big three, right?
Yep.
So, well, what's the big three? Let's let them know what the big three is.
So the big three is the three American automakers, which would be Stellantis, General Motors, and Ford.
Yep. Yeah, so Stellantis, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, that's the three American motors that help make this economy what it is. But in the beginning of time, Curtis, let me test you for a second. All right,
Uh-oh.
let's say on paper, what was the first automobile?
Ford.
For what?
That's Ford car. I don't know what it is.
Now, T baby.
Okay, bro. I was born in
Hey,
89.
my boy's over here snooty, man. He's over there with that high line. He don't know nothing about them domestic stuff.
Bro, ask me about a BMW. I can tell you.
Yeah, the Model T Ford, man, the first car in America. Hey, look, the car industry has changed America so much, but the car industry didn't create the roads. Actually, the roads were already there. Not all the roads, but roads were there, and roads were, horse and buggy and things like that, and people trade goods and things like that. But when the Model T came along, they increased the roads, and you had a smoother ride, a wider vehicle, strong roads, and you can go and you can travel faster, and you can go more places, right? And you can get there quicker. So the roads came first, then the Model T. So cars changed everything as far as the foundation of America. Vehicles pushed past the highway growth. So as cars came along, then we was able to be a trade, the cars, the trucks, then the freight and the transportation and all that came. And it developed what it is and what's a big thing for us in America. Imagine trying to get an Amazon package on a horse and buggy. You're mad that you did overnight and it didn't get there overnight. It came there 2 days later. But if it was a horse and buggy, it probably wouldn't be no Amazon, right? So America, the car industry did change a lot, and we are super grateful for it. So one big thing to talk about with America turning 250 is, again, what the car business does for America. But in 2008, 2009, our America got tested, and we had a financial setback. Banks went under, loan defaults, almost our big three almost went out of business, right? Well, y'all in the industry. I was in the industry. I was a sales manager in 2008, 2009, and when the economy crash happened. And one thing, like when the economy crash happened, America was trying to get things back going, and people didn't want to spend any money. So they're like, well, how can we get things going? And they came up with something called cash for clunkers. I remember that. You trade in the old gas guzzling vehicle for a new, more efficient vehicle. And to get our economy back going, America knew they had to get the car industry back going. So they created this thing called Cash for Clunker, inject some money, and let people know that, hey, look, you can get out there and you can get back to life. So it opened up where there were more cars being sold, and then goods started traveling and got our economy back going. That was a big thing that happened with the big three. The big three, GM and Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, were filing bankruptcy. And Ford went in and into the chambers and talked about, getting the funds to not have GM and Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram go into bankruptcy. And Al Mulally was the CEO at the time, and Al Mulally stepped in to help that. But he knew Ford didn't need the money. But he knew if Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and GM went under, then he was next. Then Ford was next. So the government stepped in and helped and saved it. That's how important the automotive industry is to the American economy. So something else happened, a very, very bad day in our country, and was 9/11. 9/11, our hearts goes out to all the families and the ones that passed with 9/11. 9/11 was a huge shock to our country. I remember I was in I don't even call it home ed, whatever you call it, the first class, and it came on the TV. And I was in high school, and we didn't know what was going on. But 9/11 really changed our country a lot. And I'm glad that we got a person on here a little bit later that we can talk about that's in that part of it, that helping with the freedom of America. But 9/11 was kind of the same thing. When 9/11 hit, everybody got scared, right? Nobody wanted to spend any money. Loans were defaulting and everything. And what happened was, y'all heard of 0% interest?
Mm-hmm.
That is the first time 0% interest was introduced when 9/11 happened. And that was to let the American people know that, hey, we got you. We got your back. We got you. Get out there and live life. Go buy your cars. Go buy your goods. You're good. And this is what we're going to give you to do it. So 0% interest came in. And guess what happened, y'all? It was a big boom.
Yep.
Cars start selling, loans are being happening, a big boom. So the automotive industry is huge to the American economy. That's why we're talking about it, and also our freedom, right? But I want to throw some numbers at you. See if y'all know this. Auto employment creates 11 million jobs.
Wow.
The automotive industry creates 11 million jobs. That's 5% of the private sector employment.
Wow.
11 million jobs. As far as paychecks, if you create 11 million jobs, Curtis, how much money you think in paychecks that is a year?
No. If I was gonna guess, would it be, I don't know, 40 or 50 billion maybe? I don't know if I'm close. 100 billion maybe?
$830 billion a year. The automotive industry is putting into Americans' pockets. Americans putting in the work in the automotive industry, and it's creating $830 billion in paychecks a year.
Dang.
It is super important. We can't do our economy can't do without the automotive industry. What's crazy is for every automotive job, it creates 10 jobs in other sectors. That money is not even calculated in. So think about that, Moose. If no matter what industry you're in, an automobile is going to be involved.
That's it. Yeah. Look, the technology, the crude oil, from every facet of industry it touches. You look at, we talk about the sophistication of the modern automobile. How many parts, Curtis? What is it? 10,000. How many moving parts goes into that automobile, and the different vendors and suppliers and all these different facets of the industry that automotive really touches. It's the backbone of our country.
Yeah, you got to talk about the wiring, the seats, the headlights. The salespeople, the mechanic that's in that service department working on that vehicle, the porter, the detail guy, the person that sells the detail chemicals, right? Somebody that doesn't even work nowhere near with the car business. Let's say they work on a boat somewhere. They probably got to get in a car to go to the boat, right? So it affects so much. So it's super important. So you know what kind of ticks me off is, and I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for a second. You got people now that are saying, I don't want the dealership involved. I want to go straight to the manufacturer. I want to go straight to this online services. I don't want to deal with a salesperson. That really ticks me off. And that's and what's crazy is that's one of the reasons why we started this podcast. Because the AI is seeping in and people think they can bypass a lot of stuff, bypass the dealership. But what people don't realize is that those tax dollars that are created at that dealership in that town, that city, that rural area, it creates $385 billion in taxes a year. That's $202 billion in federal taxes and $97 billion in state taxes a year. That's what the automotive industry does. So some of these towns that you pass through and all you see is a car dealership, they're probably still a town because of that the car dealership's there. And there are some people there that works at that dealership that is making some real good money that's rotating that money in that economy in that town. Without those tax dollars from those automobiles and those employees that are in that dealership, there's a good chance that town will probably not exist. I have a small town not far from me, and that's the case. That town will not exist without one dealership that is there.
Fonz, you're right. You really struck a nerve, I think, with the three of us when you say that. But I think the modern consumer today doesn't understand what the car dealer does, for them against the manufacturer. I mean, if you dealt direct to the manufacturer, man, you have a problem. There's no middle person to help you facilitate any issues. You got somebody that lives in your community that cares, all right, to be able to help you fight against that manufacturer when there is a problem.
And Curtis, I mean, who's paying for the sponsorship of the Little League?
I just want to say this real quick. It was 13 minutes and 44 seconds before Fonz asked me to talk. I just want to throw that out there. But yeah,
Hey, look, you could have chimed in any time. I wasn't stopping you from talking.
I'm just
Hey,
saying. But look,
hijacking the podcast today, Mr. Mindset.
it is funny because even like, when you go to the Little League game, I mean, on the fence, you see the local businesses, that they provide all the sponsorship for that. Even so my girlfriend plays volleyball and we were at her volleyball game and I was just there watching, but they have sponsorship around there, of local businesses that donate to that. I don't know if it's called a club or whatever, but where they play volleyball, so that place can stay maintained and have the money so people can play in leagues there. And one of those was a car dealership, and that's not a small city. This is in Baton Rouge where there's a million people. It doesn't matter where you go, car dealerships are donating to the community. And then I was thinking while you were talking, I was thinking about all the jobs that they supply. And then, if you kinda go off of that, you think about I remember when I was hiring people, one of the first questions I asked them is, "Do you have transportation?" And, that's a big deal. If somebody didn't have transportation, well, I really it was hard for me to hire that person because they were not reliable. And that was like as important to me as if they had a support system, because if they didn't have transportation, they couldn't do a good job. They couldn't be there on time. They were limited to the time that they could be there, the hours they could work.
Yeah, so the automotive industry brings a lot, and it's a huge part of the American economy. It allowed us to do a lot of things in this country because of the automotive industry. And I can't. You got to look at both sides, right? You got to ask yourself, what can I do different? So there are some people that say that they want to bypass the dealership and go online and do direct to manufacturer or whatever, that they don't like the experience that they're getting now. But we got to look at ourselves also as salespeople. What are we doing? Are we giving them a bad experience? Are we working to get better? And that's the reason again why are we doing this? Because it's time to, hey, Curtis, a checker from the neck up and screw your head on straight, right? And point at yourself and say, hey, how can I give my community a great experience to where they don't even want to think about going somewhere else?
Well, if you think that if you are just selling cars to make money, you're n it's gonna be a struggle for you, because look, people can buy online if they just want a transaction, But if you make it more than a transaction experience, like if you're somebody that they can call where you're not just their salesperson, but you advise them on different things. I mean, I remember customers like coming to me when they were in service and they're like, "Hey, do you think I should do this?" You know, the service advisor is saying that this is something that I may need to do to maintenance my car. And you become that advisor to their customer. They trust you, you know? And that's the kind of experience that a customer, if they have that kind of experience or that kind of trust in you, the transactions, they're not interested.
Now look, Moose, sometimes, like I said, we got to look at ourselves also. Sometimes salespeople, yeah, that's the dealer name, that's the dealer sponsoring that little league. What about us personally as a salesperson? You should be giving back to your community too.
I
Just
mean,
because the dealer
you
did
should,
it don't mean, oh, check a box. Hey, we did it. No. What did you do?
yeah. I mean, Fonz, I tell you, the best salespeople that I see out there, they treat themselves as an independent contractor. What the dealership gives me is they give me some walls, they may give me some leads to come in, but it's my job to go out into my community and look, go support other businesses. Go in and spend a little money in a business. Go in and make yourself recognized in your community. And look, I'll tell y'all this, man. Most car salespeople today, are we ashamed to tell people what we do for a living, right? Man, Fonz, I remember you talked about in previous episodes, man, go walk around Walmart, go walk around Target, go walk around and be known with your work shirt on to where people can come up to you and ask questions. All right. But be out there. Don't just expect the dealer, all right, to bring customers to you. It's your job to go out and prospect. It's your job to step it up and go out and be in that community.
Yeah, and look, it's some salespeople are like, well, that takes money. Not everything takes money. You don't have to have money to go help out at your local food bank. You don't have to have money to go help and pick up litter in the neighborhood. I mean, you don't have to have money to do those things. So we got to look at ourselves and say, hey, what can we do different? So this is America 250. I'm super proud. I'm super proud. I talked to a few people and they kind of negative about it and like, 4th of July has always been my holiday. I love it. I love it hot, sweating, a couple of beers and water and a slice of watermelon and some barbecue on the grill. Like, and we have our freedom, right? So we can't talk just about the car business without talking about our freedom, right? We're protected in this country by men and women that put their lives and neck on the line every day. And a lot of times they put their family on second base, right? Behind the whole country. So we got special guests. We talk about in the car business how our job's tough and I gotta do this and I gotta do that. And I was talking to Curtis and he's like, yeah, we always talk about our job's tough, but how tough is it? You're not a doctor doing surgery on somebody on the table and they're about to die. Look, we don't have the doctor on this episode. Curtis, we may be able to get the doctor a little later on, you know. But for America 250, we're talking about freedom, and we talk with a guy that really know what tough work is all about. So, Mr. Mindset, you don't mind introducing?
Yeah, so our next guest is obviously special to me. He's my brother, and it's kind of funny when we were growing up. I don't remember what age it started, but probably 8 or 9 years old. When we would ask him what he wanted for gifts, it was always something to do with the military. Like I feel like he knew he was going to be in the military since a very young age. And so I'm super excited to have him on the podcast. My brother Justin um, just made warrant officer, so congratulations on that.
Nice.
Justin, you want to pop on?
So
Hey
Justin was.
everybody, how's it going?
What's up, Justin? So Justin, you was buying GI Joes when you was little.
Hey, anything I get my hands on, man.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I had a bunch of little GI Joes. My dad used to get pissed at me because I leave them on the floor and they get stuck in his foot.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, I consider myself tough, but I ain't in the Marines, man. I'm not cut out for that. I saw some YouTube clips of the stuff y'all gotta do. I wouldn't make it over that wall. So, man, look, it's America 250. We want to celebrate and do a little give back and talk about the greatness of America. Look, and there's some dark sides of America that we've been through, and there's a dark side that you probably know that you're protecting us from. So, we want to dive in a little bit, talk to you, Justin. So I got a question for you. Why did you choose to be a Marine?
Well, I think there's a lot of things I could say and I could answer that question. I think like Curtis said, I wanted to be, in the military since I was pretty young. And I think there came a point where I was probably about 12 or 13, and I just kind of knew I want to do the Marines. Everything you looked at and saw, it was the hardest thing to do. The military represents less than 1% of the United States population, and the Marine Corps represents the top 1% of the military. And
Dang.
so I wanted to be a part of that. And I'll tell you what really did it in too was I was looking through a magazine, and I saw a first sergeant carrying the American flag, and he had his sleeves rolled, and he was just jacked. And I was like, "Oh, that's the way we're going."
See, that's why I wasn't cut out for the Marines, man. I ain't Jack, man. I'm cut out for like Golden Corral or something. No, awesome. So now let me ask you. That was 12, 13, right? You saw that. So, all right, we're gonna shoot some shots right here. Why not the Army?
Yeah, and I could sit here. I got a lot of jokes, but I got a lot of buddies over the years that I've made, guys in the Army, Navy, and Air Force that in my phone right now, if I call them up and said I needed something, they'd be there just as soon as one of my Marine buddies. So all love and respect to those guys as well. But I think there's something to be said about what we do as Marines. And if you talk to anybody, whether it's the, Air Force, Navy, Marines, or go talk to, there's plenty of podcasts out there where there's Navy SEALs, Delta guys, and every single one of them, they might talk a little crap on the Marine Corps, but at the same time, every one of them will tell you, hey, if you want something done, it's the Marines. You go get the Marines. They don't care how hard it is. They don't care about getting dirty. And they're going to go until it's the last man standing. And then at the end of the day, everybody's coming home, whether it's dead or alive, we're getting everybody back. And I think that's something that kind of sticks with me, even in my personal life.
Man, that's kind of hit me right there. He said dead or alive. Everybody's coming home, man. That's pretty cool. I'm glad you said it like that because as I said earlier, man, for this country, it takes all of us. It takes all of us working together. I think it's one mission when it comes to it. So, what does freedom mean to you?
Man, that's a deep question, Fonz. And, I was kind of thinking about that earlier. There's the generic of the ability to go and buy whatever brand car I want, or
Hmm.
to take that car and turn it into whatever I want to do with it, or to travel around and go eat wherever I want, spend time with my family, have the barbecue on the July 4th holiday like you were talking about and stuff. But I think for me, the freedom that I see, it's centered more around the example is this right here. I'm sitting here with three other gentlemen, to include my brother, that have very different backgrounds, very different religions, creeds, ethnicities, cultures, whatever you want to say. And we're all sitting here talking about the same thing, enjoying the same luxuries in life. And we're a part of the greatest nation on earth, that we have men and women. And I would say, Fonz, I know you're not in the Marines, but I would say if somebody came over here from another country trying to take your land and buck up against America, I have no doubt in my mind I can count on all three of y'all to jump in there with me and get after it. And that's
That's
what
that's a good
freedom
one.
is we're all in this together, and we're making this place a better place.
That's it. So Moose, you're well traveled also. I remember you telling me some stories, like, this big selection of cars that you have here in America.
It's
Like
not like
you
that
don't
in
have
other
that in other
countries.
places.
Nope. And look, you don't have the freedom to go pick one off a lot. In other countries, it's a lot of order system and it's a whole different thing. I mean, Justin, look, you nailed it, man. That hit home for me. Look, I've been to countries and I'm from a whole different country. And some people don't appreciate what we truly have here because I got relatives that don't have the freedom to be on a podcast like we have the freedom. So, I mean, it hits home.
They don't have ranch dressing
They don't
either.
have ranch
So
dressing. We got ranch
All right,
dressing.
them people coming over here for that soccer, man, they going crazy over our ranch dressing.
that
Hey,
one
look, I like
lady
some ranch
said
dressing.
she said, "I love y'all's trucks. They're as big as my apartment back home."
Well, Justin, look, if they try to take our ranch dressing, bro, you make sure you protect that, man. They can't take the
Oh,
ranch
you
dressing.
ain't gotta worry.
Oh, I was hoping you wasn't a blue cheese guy, I'm gonna have to kick you off here.
Oh, come on now. That's disrespectful.
So, well, you kind of already answered this one. What enticed you to be a Marine? You already kind of said it. You saw the jacked up guy holding the American flag. I mean, I know the picture exactly what you're talking about. And I think it does something to everybody who's in this country when they see that picture, man. So, now I know you work out, you're a Marine and everything, but I know a guy that's been working out. He's been working out in 92-degree weather with 80% humidity.
94.
94-degree
94.
weather with 80% humidity. Your brother Curtis.
Yep.
So if now you got to answer this one now, okay? You can't do like the Army question.
Alright.
If we put you and Curtis in the ring right now, who's winning?
Well, Fonz, that's a tough question because, it depends on the mindset of the moment. If
Oh,
we're,
that's
you know,
just the mindset. I mean,
and I'll tell you, I think, mano a mano, so to speak, I would have to go with myself, obviously. But I know I have faith that my brother would put up a good fight.
he put up a good
Well,
fight.
I'll tell you this. I tell people all the time, I said, you can mess with me if you want, but it's not me really that you have to worry with. I got a brother in the Marines and the other brothers in the Hall of Fame martial arts, so y'all have fun.
So you telling us,
Believe me.
Curtis, you picked up a few tips over the years? Don't mess
I'm going
with
to tell you right now, that'd be a bad duo to tangle with.
Look, Curtis been working out, man. He's been getting it, man.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, Fonz. I'm gonna interrupt right here. I tell people all the time, Curtis, if you want to see somebody that has athletic awareness, like you can't understand how go play sports with that man. Any sport you want to play. I think athletically, yeah, sure, I'm in pretty good shape and stuff. Basketball, football, anything, soccer, whatever. Like he don't have to like the sport, and he'll be good at it somehow. So. He definitely has that athletic awareness.
What's
Yeah,
that?
he
What's
showed
that
us that
ball when
in a
he?
game of ping pong, man. My dude over
Yeah.
here was jumping around the table. Man, he was hitting. I'm like, man, where did this ball even come from?
Fonz wouldn't even play me, Justin.
No, he wouldn't even play me.
Nah, man, ping pong ain't for me, man. They didn't. No, give me a basketball, a little football. I'll do that, whatever. So Justin, when it comes to the military, I happen to stay near a base. I'm about an hour away from an army base, and I've sold some spouses and some military members vehicles over my tenure, and I always felt a little something special when they drove off, like I did something special for them, and then they were just so everyone. I'm telling you, everyone I've sold a vehicle to, they were so thankful. They were so thankful for everything I did for them, and I really, I was just doing my job, but I do like to connect with people. So are you the commanding officer?
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because the commanding officer sometimes shut me down. It's like, they ain't buying that. They ain't buying that one.
Yeah.
But I did have to call a commanding officer one time. I had a guy that came in, and it was he came in and wanted to buy a Mazda RX-8, brand new one, cash, and he was, he seemed a little strange, and and he was Army, Justin. He was an Army guy, and he was like, I got $20,000. I want to pay for this car. And I'm like, man, that's a good down payment, but that's not buying the whole car. So he was like, "Well, I'll put $20,000 down on it." So we get in the car to go do a test drive. And he told me before we got in the car, he said, "Well, they told me I need to go to the VA and start talking to somebody for his mental health or something like that." I was like, because he had just got back from deployment. I don't remember where he deployed from, where he was deployed from. And we get in the RX-8 and he's driving and he taps it out like 120 miles per hour. And he's looking straight ahead. And I'm like, "Sir, please slow it down." And he turns to me, he said, "No." And I'm like, what the heck I'm gonna do? So I'm like, all right, I can jump out the car at 100 something miles per hour. And then I was like, so I stepped back and I said, the only thing I can do is do this. So I said, "Soldier, stop, pull this car over right now." He looked at me and said, "Yes, sir," and pulled it over. I was like, "Thank you, Jesus." I thought he was gonna kill us, man. I thought
Hey,
he was
because
gonna
Plan B
kill us.
was opening the door and rolling out the car, so
He
you're
was rolling
glad
out the
Plan A
car. I
was.
mean, I was like, as loud as I could, "Soldier, pull this car over right now." And he pulled, "Yes, sir," and pulled over. So them commands are strong, man. Y'all be on them guys. So, but when it comes to the automobile, how important is a reliable transportation to you and your soldiers and the spouses that are home when y'all go to deployment or training?
That's probably one of the biggest issues that I'm recently a warrant officer, so before my rank was a gunnery sergeant. And a huge issue that we have is, I'm gonna kinda maybe take it off a little bit and bring it back, but, you gotta think most of these guys, they're maybe early 20s tops, and the Army and the Navy, you'll get a little bit older crowd sometimes, maybe they have a little bit more life experience, but, the Marine Corps, the max age for you to join without getting a waiver is 29. So, most of the folks that are joining, they're 18, 19 years old. The average age of a Marine is 21 years old. That's out of all the ranks and everything. So you're getting these kids who this is the first time they have a solid paycheck and income. They don't understand finances. There's a reason why it's called Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. Because we're getting people who are poor, down on their luck. They have no other way out of a bad situation. And so, whether it's Army or whatever, a lot of times some of them want to just serve, but a lot of times it's like this is their way out. And so, what happens is they can't afford like you're talking about reliable transportation and stuff. And so they end up buying something off Facebook Marketplace or, and it's what the military now is a lot different than it was 20 plus years ago, where everybody lived pretty close to where you worked. And you've got, I was on an Army base where some of these guys, their barracks is 5, 10 miles away. Well, on paper, sure, you can walk that every morning, but that's just, they need an automobile. So you got guys stacking up 3 or 4 deep in a car and stuff, with whoever's got one. And then talking about the deployment part, hopefully nowadays with technology, if a spouse, something happens, she can get a hold of her husband or, whatever it might be, but that's not always the case. So having that clarity of mind that I'm leaving my spouse with a good vehicle, and more so than that, being able to have those contacts and stuff where if something happens, they know who to reach out to and talk to. Sorry, I kind of went full circle there, but to
Oh no,
answer your
you're good.
question,
You're good.
it's really important, and it's something that we face every day. I can't tell you how many phone calls as a gunny, which in the Marine Corps, it's not necessarily commanding officer that you would call in that situation. You're probably calling their sergeant or their staff sergeant or something like that. And there's plenty of times I got phone calls of, "Hey, I just went and bought this car, maybe not the most reliable car, but it looks cool and whatever." And I'm like, "Oh man, like in 6 months to a year, this is going to be a problem." So, It's a problem in the military. You've got a lot of aspects. You got young people, and sometimes even the older ones who, they're going after flash. This is the first time they've been able to afford this, and they're walking into a dealership. And not to speak ill of a dealership, like the dealership or the salesman, but a lot of times it's like, hey, you're just like trying, sell that this guy wants to buy this 2020 Camaro, and his freaking credit score is 600, and it's like, hey, he's got a paycheck. He can do it, so it is an issue, you know.
So what could there's gonna be a lot of salespeople watching this. What could salespeople do to network on a military base?
So what I would say is, you guys know this better than most. Reputation is everything.
Yep.
Because I've been to bases where specifically you were told you will not go to this dealership and
Hmm.
buy from them.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
You will not go
Mhm.
there because they know you're military. They know most of the time you're young. I tell Marines all the time, hey, if you're going to a dealership, call me. I don't have to go with you, but just call me and tell me what they're offering you. I've bought a few cars. Both my brothers are in the industry. I've been around it enough. I can kind of tell you if it's something that's, manageable. But a lot of times, they're like, I'm a grown man. I'll take care of it myself. And the dealer knows that, or the salesman. And so, reputation is huge. And, a lot of times too, if you reach out, if you can find a way, and I'm sure it varies base to base, but, you talk about community service and stuff. Every base has some kind of tie into the community. And you, as a dealer, you can find that, or just as a salesman, you can find that tie, find the person that is putting together community events, getting the military guys out to represent the base to give back to the community. Cause that's, believe it or not, that's a huge part of the military. And we look at any chance we can to give back to the community as well. You can tie into that and start to meet those people. Now the problem is it's something you have to stay on because unlike in your profession, a lot of times, you don't have a commander, you don't have that senior enlisted guy there for more than 3 years tops, so you do have to stay persistent. And every time somebody's about to change over, try to get that next point of contact and stuff. But build that reputation and look for those ways to get on the base and make a name for yourself. And I promise you, if you build a reputation of like, hey, this guy right here, he's really helpful, and he'll help you get a good car that'll last you, for you or your spouse, and a good deal and everything, that spreads like wildfire on bases.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's a pro tip right there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but you need to get out there and go help people. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And I always say this. I think we're not on this earth just to consume. We're here to help others,
Yeah.
right? So you should go out there and help others. And when you help other people, guess what? You get what you want. You get
I
what you
was I
want,
was
Robert.
just gonna say, Fonz, if you help out military bases and those units, I'm telling you, everybody will be coming over. There's tons of small businesses, even out here in a small little place like 29 Palms. And it's like, hey, I need, I don't know, you name it, whatever it might be. Well, hey, you go over to this guy and he'll hook it up. There's a shop outside of our base here. Been there about 20, 30 years. The guy, it was guy's been working there forever. You need anything, any help with your, car or whatever, you take it to that guy. Because everybody knows he gives you a reasonable rate and he's going to be honest with you about it. And it's like that guy, it's a tiny little shop, and his shop is packed every time I go by it.
And that's what we should be doing in America is helping other people and giving back. I know my guy Moose, man, he's big about we talk about this all the time, giving back and helping people and not patting yourself on the shoulders or bragging about it, anything like that. And not doing it to go make that car deal, right? Go out there and pick up some trash and try to make things more beautiful. Go go
Yep.
go help out. So we talk about that all the time. So do you feel like you sell anything? since you got two brothers in the industry, maybe you picked up a few tips here and there. Do you feel like you sell anything?
Like I sell.
Yeah, do you feel like you
Um,
sell anything?
I do. Interestingly enough, Marine Corps, we have recruiters, and they're selling the Marine Corps. And now I'm not a Marine Corps, or I'm not a recruiter for the Marine Corps. I never have been, but I'm selling to very talented individuals in the Marine Corps on a regular basis to stay in this organization. To when things aren't great, a lot of Marines join because they wanted action. You don't join the Marine Corps most of the time if you don't want to get after and you don't want to be tired and working hard and getting after. And so, these guys are extremely talented and driven. And I tell Curtis all the time, if I could I've got 4 guys right now, and if I brought them to any dealership you give me, I guarantee in a month it'd probably be the top dealership because those guys don't sleep. They'll stay. They would live in the dealership if you let them. Especially they
That's who
don't
you
they
want.
don't
That's
make
who you want on your left and
they
right,
don't
huh?
make good money, Fonz, and
Yeah,
they're
I
doing
know.
this
Yeah.
stuff like they're getting after it every day, like making themselves to the point where it's like dangerous because they're getting, I'm like, you're gonna make yourself sick. But so I gotta sell to those guys when they're not getting to go do all the cool, fun things that we do as Marines on a time to time basis. Hey, I need you to stick around, man, so you can make this organization better.
All right, real quick, I gotta ask you this because I see a car on the wall. What's your dream car, and do you have it?
That is a C2. That's not my dream car. It's just
Okay.
I
Okay.
am a Corvette guy.
All right.
But it's a C3 Corvette 1976 Stingray, and I do have it.
Okay.
He's
Yeah,
rebuilding it, right? Well, it's
yeah,
almost
Oh, that's
done.
awesome. That's awesome. What
yeah.
color you gonna get it?
It's like the black off of a C6 Z06.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice, nice. We want to see what that
yeah.
baby. If you had to put a percentage on how much it is complete, what's that percentage?
We're probably like 80% right now.
Hey,
It's
well, you
it's about
close.
drivable.
You close. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah.
Curtis, it only fit 2 people, so why don't you steal it from him and pick me up? All right. So look, man, it's America 250. We're celebrating 250 years this country. Uh Proud of this country, love this country, will do whatever for this country, and you're definitely portraying that and doing that. If you on live TV right now, which you are, because we blowing up all over the place. We on the left corner, the right corner, you know. We everywhere, man. Uh, and you were talking to you were live on TV right now. What would you tell America as they turn 250 years old?
I think you hit on it earlier, Fonz. Be grateful, and I don't just mean, groveling or anything like that. Just be thankful for what we have here, and let's not, and I guess don't take your foot off the gas, for all the issues and problems that we seem to have. Nobody wants to leave, and if they do, they come back pretty quickly. So, why not be thankful for that and, go find somebody that you don't agree with and see if you can't find some common ground now and then.
Whoa, that's a
Ooh.
pro tip right there. That's a pro tip. Hey, look, when I go to other countries and I come back, you know what the first thing I want? I want a
Hamburger.
freaking hamburger, man.
Yep.
I knew it.
Yep.
I want a hamburger,
Hamburger
man. Like
Well,
it's
I
like,
with
got a
some
question for
ranch.
you then, Fonz. Where are you getting that hamburger from?
ooh,
Well, it's gotta have ranch on it, I'll just tell you that.
I'll give you a couple selections. They may not be your favorite, but I'll give you a couple. Five Guys, In and
Five
Out,
Guys,
or Whataburger.
Five Guys.
Okay,
Five
there you
Guys,
go.
amazing. Now, one that trumps it all, my wife makes a mean hamburger.
Hey, you can't beat that. Home cooking.
Yeah, and that's how she became my wife. She almost get kicked out because she took me my sense in my house, but she makes a mean hamburger. So instead of waiting a man hardest through his stomach, so she sure figured that
That's
out.
right.
All right, look, but Justin, look, we appreciate you. America turning 250. So stay on, man. We want to go last words, give some pro tips. This show is a little bit longer than what we normally do, but this is a bonus episode. And is only one time that we turn 250 years old. So, Moose, man, I know you've been listening and absorbing it all. So you're taking some notes there and everything. Give us a pro tip, man.
So, Justin, man, before I give my pro tip, I just want to say, man, thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you do and for the words that you said, man. A lot of it's inspiring for what you guys do for us and the freedom that we have, and we don't take it for granted. But you know what my pro tip is, and Fonz, this has been on my mind. It's selection. I want to talk about selection for a second. I want us as salespeople in our industry to slow this part of the process down to speed up the entire transaction. Okay. Y'all, I feel like, with the environment that we're in the car business today, these consumers have so much information at their fingertips. Fonz, Curtis, Justin, even, if we go back 10 years ago, the average consumer visited 4 to 5 dealerships before making a buying decision. All right, man, they popped from store to store to store to store. All right. And then they settled on whichever one. They ran into the right salesperson. They had the right piece of inventory. But today, y'all know what that number is? It's 1.2 to 1.4. Y'all, the average consumer today is visiting about 1.4 dealerships. And the mistake that we are making is in selection. All right. Make sure you aren't going to the nicest, most expensive piece of inventory because that's what you like. Make sure you're presenting alternatives to customers. All right, to save time and for them to save that 0.4, because you know where the 0.4 falls into, Fonz? It falls into customers that they own the wrong vehicle. You negotiated with this customer for 3 to 4 hours, and they decided to save face and go drive down to the dealership right down the street. And they asked for that XLT trim instead of the platinum that you showed them. So master selection and you master your industry.
Nice. Deep. All right, Curtis. Pro tip, man.
All right. So, first of all, I want to say thank you to Justin for his service. I also want to say thank you to all the families of all the military people. I know it's not as hard as being in the military, but sometimes I feel like it's harder because, I haven't got to spend a lot of time with Justin over the last, 14 years, because he's all over the place. So, thank you for that. So my pro tip is a little bit different. My pro tip is, when you do something, are you doing it to win?
Mm. Oh, you speak
Are
about
you
me.
focused on winning? So, Moose said ping pong. I mean, I hadn't played ping pong in a decade, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter if it's a competition. It doesn't matter if it's my family. It doesn't matter if it's being a good friend to somebody. I'm gonna win at it. And whatever you do, whether you're going to the grocery store or whether you're going to sell a car or whether you're going to be a good family member or a good friend or whatever, your mindset should be to win at whatever you do.
Love it. Love it. Good pro tip. Justin, I want to thank you also, man. And I want to thank you because I think our level of intelligence went up with having you on the podcast.
Yeah.
And my guy Moose, though, I don't know what happens when he gets on the podcast. Like, he's just so intelligent.
He does.
When I listened to myself, I told my boy Fonz, man, I sound a little sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Yeah. But man, look, we appreciate you. I'm gonna give a pro tip. I'm gonna keep it light, man. Look, it's about to be the 4th of July. We about to turn 250 years old. And I think, we just need to be grateful for what we have. We got, some of us don't have running waters, but a lot of us have running waters. We got food in our bellies. We're protected. We don't have things flying over our heads. So yeah, look, the car business is it's amazing. It's provide a wonderful life for us, but live life, have fun, be an asset to society, an asset to this United States of America, and don't be selfish. Help somebody else and make sure they help somebody else. Take care of our neighbor like we would want to take care of ourselves. So want to keep it light. Get some barbecue. Get you some ribs, some steak, some hamburgers, a good brewski. So Justin, I don't know if you know this. I
Ranch
said it,
dressing.
ranch dressing.
Ranch dressing.
But I actually went vegetarian, man. I went vegan and vegetarian, so now I eat plant-based burgers. But I still got to get a good burger here in America. So we're gonna grill up some plant-based burgers this weekend. That is not marine-like. You probably would look at me and say, right, you'd probably slap me with that plant-based meat. Get out of here! What you think you doing?
Like the tortilla slap,
Yeah,
Mwah.
Hey, Curtis, is this episode sponsored by ranch dressing yet?
yeah.
I'm trying.
Come on, man. You have a
man.
sponsor. We're looking for some sponsors. Ranch dressing.
Can we call the episode Hidden Valley?
Hidden
Hidden
Valley.
Valley. Hidden Valley. But seeing all those people come from other countries and they get a taste, just a taste of what we have, and their mind is freaking blown, and we take advantage of it every day.
We take it for granted.
A lot of that stuff, man, we throw out more than what they probably consumed when they came to town. So just be grateful, have fun, put a smile on. No need to be mad or angry, and try your best to forgive somebody. Somebody done hurt you or said something to you. All you're doing is hurting yourself. Go out there and forgive somebody, and let's enjoy this 250. So look, y'all, that's thank you, Justin. Thank you, Moose. Thank you, Mr. Mindset.
Thank you.
That is the end of our America 250 bonus episode. No box checking. And my guys have been chaining up. So I've been saying no box checking. We don't just check boxes, we make an impact, but they like no box checking. Let's go.
Box checking. Let's
Let's
go, baby.
go.
All right. So we see you all. Thank you all. Tune in to the next episode. You don't want to miss it. You can catch us on all streaming. I done added to all kind of streaming out there. So wherever there's a podcast platform, we're there. So check us out. Thank you all.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Happy 250.
No box checking, let's go. Yeah, yeah. No box checking, let's go. No roadmap left unfinished, we see it through. Clear direction in everything we do. Nothing done halfway, we all in full. Built on discipline, that's the rule. We support every role up front, the line, sales desk, F&I, one team, one mind. No ego, no silos, just progress and trust. Strong process first, results follow us. No box checking. No box checking. Real work, real direction, real connection. Game plan clear, customer always first. Great sales process from start to the purchase. No fakeness, the motto authentic and true. That's how you win, long term too. Fonz, Curtis, Moose. No box checking.